So here we go, race 3 in the Prada Cup semi-finals. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli against American Magic. Left and right on your screen as we see it. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli have port entry. They can enter at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then at the 2-minute mark, in come American Magic. And all the talk will be about this start because they are under pressure. Paul Goodison said 2-3 days ago, Kenny, that if we get the start right, we don't make any mistakes, it'll be hard for Rossa to get past us. Big call, but they've got to get a start win.
Yeah, Shirley, I think Terry Hutchinson said it best in the press conference yesterday. They got to give the boat a chance. And, you know, we've all been in tough starting situations, and we've all had good starts in our lives, but they've been consistently not great. And it's got to be getting in Dean's head a little bit. I've been there before. I've gotten myself in a slump before. We all have as sailors. How do you break out of it? How does Dean Barker break out of this slump?
Well, there'll be a massive relief about the conditions today, Kenny. You know, it's perfect. 10 to 12 knots. We're not in that. We thought we were going to be in that zone where you were up and down. So, you know, for a start, that kind of helps. You're not going to be worried about the speed of the boat nearly as much, but he needs somehow to reset.
Well, I think it's a huge part of the day is also we've been sailing in really shifty conditions. This is the first day that I can really remember in this entire series that the breeze is coming into the Hauraki Gulf fairly unaffected, fairly unencumbered by land. Therefore, it is, like Nathan said, this is more of a boat speed contest today, not as much that shifty tactical situation. We got plenty of crowd, both onshore and out of the water. The amount of boats lining this race course is some kind of spectacular. So good for New Zealanders for coming out and watching the challenge.
The period has been completed, and this race is live.
You're right, though, Kenny. This is a big 4 minutes for this American team. They have to look strong. They have to be aggressive. They have to take control of this pre-start. They cannot start behind the Italian outfit.
And speaking of the Italian outfit, it was encouraging. Nathan, I want your read on this one. There was always that concern over what they were going to be like in heavier. They were asked at the press conference yesterday about the lighter, and they said, we're good. We're now good across the range, and this plays into their hand. So what a beautiful day it is out there on the Hauraki Gulf, and what a beautiful day it is. And if you want the 1-1 situation to be in it, that is the place to be. 3 minutes and 6 seconds and counting on our virtual eye to the third race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. The Italians with a 2-0 lead. And this does play into the Italians' hand.
Well, the breeze traditionally has, but I think today may be different. That it's not crazy windy. It doesn't bring those flashbacks of their crash and near sinking. This could be exactly the weather situation that the Americans desperately needed to kind of switch things up. And listen, obviously plenty of wind to get up on the foils. Both boats are up and sailing fast. Both look totally prepared. I'm ready for a really good, aggressive race.
It was encouraging too to see Hamilton Dean Barker not fighting with the wheel. Yesterday, if you remember vividly, he was fighting the wheel on American Magic. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They have port entry. And they will come in, as you can see them on the left-hand side of your screen, into the very tiny start area, which is proving challenging for all teams, but some get it right. Luna Rossa got it right yesterday. How about American Magic today?
American Magic coming in on starboard a little behind. That means that technically they can be a little more the aggressor here and kind of set up their spot a little better. Let's see that geometry that we were talking about in the start box and see if they're ready to start switching things up. Surely Spithill and company, they immediately go kind of rogue and take off for the outside edge of the box. Kind of interesting strategy.
They're happy to do exactly what they want. I mean, I'm listening intently to the comms on the American boat as well, way more than we've heard before. They're painting the picture of where they are in the box. And as you say, they're now the aggressor. They wait for Italy to make their move and then react.
Onto the water, Nathan, read this one for us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, well, at this point, neither team's sort of engaging with each other, but this is the critical moment. Luna Rossa coming back on starboard on their time. It's all about if Dean goes past them and pushes or tacks ahead of them.
Dean going early here, and I think they're both pretty early for the starting line right now, Nathan, aren't they?
Try and take off here, boys.
Yeah, it looks a little early, and it looks like Luna Rossa might have just chopped off the port. No, they're up and going again here now. So it's all about if they are on time. If they're a little bit later on time, looking pretty strong here for American Magic. So we'll follow this one in right at the start.
This is lining up well for this American team. They're pushing the Italians over that right-hand ley line to the start.
2-1, up now.
He's off. You in the line? You in the line?
Snap bearing away, easing.
One blow out now.
Full charge here.
Good shot.
Next to screen.
Yeah.
Ready to trim, Raga.
No lower.
One blow out now. Blue.
Race start in race 3 of the Prada Cup semi-finals, and do we dare say American Magic got a good start and maybe won the start?
Even start. We'll give them an even start, but they're coming up on this boundary situation right now. American Magic will have the right to tack off the boundary. They're going to be in that protection zone. Can Prada lee-bow them, or are they going to have to tack early and get out of there? This is a really big moment. This first cross is a huge moment in this race.
Pressure cabin is dead in front. Nice. Fish cabin.
Standing by, Goody.
Trim up now.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, foot down. 1, 4 down. And turning. And turn. Tax. Tax one lower. My wheel. Then build.
You would say in this situation, Shirley, advantage to Luna Rossa, but barely. That's a lee-bow position, a standard lee-bow position. Can American Magic live there across the race course? This is really tense.
Higher, slightly slower at
So
the moment.
it's a difficult slot, isn't it? And we saw actually on the other tack how American Magic managed to move forward on the opposition, but not far
The
enough.
question here is if he tacks, do you keep to the left of him, rookie?
We are bleeding slightly here.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to go sooner than later.
Andrew Campbell saying we are bleeding slightly. I think it's more than slightly right now. The Italians are really starting to scoot out into that safe position to give American Magic bad air. And there they go.
Okay, he's gone. Good angle. My wheel.
So you'd have to say, Shirley, first cross to the Italians.
Still going, so we know I shot the next intersection. Tax now.
We have a boat race.
Wow, we have a boat race.
We have a boat race.
Shows up
This is
the
the
track the
best
other way,
we've seen
Jess.
and heard them
Yeah,
race
yeah.
together.
Still big right shift.
Yeah.
Not unhappy with the pressure we're sailing towards here, but I hear you.
Yes.
Work it up a little bit here. Okay.
I agree with that, rookie. Probably just with boundary tack.
Nice hit. Seconds.
The problem here is the race course has kind of been cut in half right now. American Magic's going to go back. The Prada team can tack on them. If they do an effective tack, they tack on their breeze and keep shoving them back towards the narrow side of the race course.
Pressure is good in front, generally.
Yeah, I think we go go for the crosses because it's a righty.
Yeah, big gain here.
So is the ley line?
Yep.
Copy.
We heard the Italian boat saying, you know, gain to us. And I think part of that looked perhaps like pressure on the right-hand side, but just looking at the boat speed, always just a click faster than the Americans.
Nathan, what can you see?
Yeah. Guys, it doesn't look like there's much at all between these two boats, boat speed, but just a little right-hand shift on that second time they're on starboard, and that's what's given Luna Rossa that small advantage at the moment, but not many shifts out here, and it's very much a boat speed race. Luna Rossa looking a touch quicker, if you ask me.
Nathan, it was interesting they didn't try to narrow up the race course right there and actually kind of let them breathe, and now we're going to have a split most likely at the top mark.
Clear cross?
No problem with him, so it's just straight us on the mark, Kiko.
Copy that, no problem. Yeah. What is going well?
Let's check the wind after the very wave. We need to jibe early for pressure.
That's a good course, Kiko. No lower.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli at the top gate for the first time, and they lead American Magic around. Been a very tight first leg of 6, remember. We are a 6-leg race. Race number 3. Yesterday in race number 1, the initial advantage was 17 seconds, but different day today completely. It's a 13-second advantage to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli as American Magic complete their first leg.
2, 1.
Interesting, they must think they're in a big right-hand shift here, Shirley, because that's a strange place to jibe. You have a split at the top mark and you're the boat behind. You think that continuing there would have at least given them a chance for some leverage. They must think they're in a big shift or big breeze, or maybe just simply keeping it close.
Well, Luna Rossa going upwind made their gain from breeze on the right-hand side. And before the start, I was eavesdropping into the comms of the Italian boat. They liked that right, not all the time, but more than often they could see something there, and they've certainly gone exactly where they wanted to go.
I don't know if you can ever call these boats sane, but it just feels sane today compared to yesterday. Yesterday was, Francesco Bruni said that was the hardest day that they had sailed this boat yesterday. This just feels like people can breathe a little bit today.
As a reminder, if you are joining us for race 3 of this Prada Cup semi-finals, they were running at something like 40-odd knots, plus knots. They got up to 53.3 knots. That was Patriot. But the American Magic campaign, it does feel like a bit of a Sunday drive today. And we're doing this direction. Gosh, look at that. Plenty.
Pressure increasing here.
Surely they're already talking about the geometry at this bottom gate. One in to the left means probably one jibe and a left-hand turn through this bottom gate.
Yeah.
Pietro Sabello, the Olympic 49er sailor, having a good look around. We saw him do it yesterday, which was a brave move, hanging onto the back of the main. But crucially, they've coached him this week just to be more confident in giving his information, giving his input.
And that has been the big improvement about communication on board Luna Rossa, surely.
I think there's been lots of improvement, but it's been a huge emphasis. Vasco Vascotto, who's a really experienced tactician, is in a real mentoring role in that team, and he's really taken it on board.
1.
Not the best jibe in the world by Luna Rossa. That's going to cost them. This is a one-mistake lead right now. You put this boat in the water once, and that boat's going to come blowing by you from behind.
Oh, what's the plan? What I need, right?
I think we go straight to left, huh?
Straight left, yeah.
Might be a little gain to the Americans on that mediocre jibe. But one and in, we could be getting another split here at the bottom gate. Let's see if the Americans are more aggressive in their maneuvers today. Yesterday, they just kind of felt like they were holding on. Let's see if they do some more radical maneuvers and look for splits.
Going down in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Done.
Coming up in 5.
Not the best jibe either, Kenny. I mean, just watching the speeds on the left-hand side of the screen, you get a real feel of how much you lose when you don't get it right.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli around the bottom gate for the first time. Nice and smooth as they were yesterday. The advantage at the top gate was 13 seconds. They have made a gain on this downwind leg. It's a small game, but a gain nonetheless. And in this particular game, that means everything. 21 seconds now. Make that 22, confirmed.
American Magic straight into that tag. I mean, Kenny, they have to do something, don't they? They can't just follow them around the course.
It certainly makes it more difficult in this much more steady race course. Without the big shifts, shifts very often, Stephen, create almost a passing lane, you know, a narrow passing lane, even on these crazy small courses. But when it's not shifty, it becomes more of a kind of a drag race, a boat speed contest, and that means it gets a little more straightforward for the boat ahead versus the boat behind. So we either need a mistake, you know, we need a mistake. It's that simple. You need the boat ahead to make a mistake. It's harder to make a mistake when it's such steady wind conditions.
Onto the water with Nathan Outridge. Nathan, what feeling do you have about American Magic at the moment?
Well, they've got a little bit on here to try and get back into this race. What I have noticed is that all the boats that are anchored on the right-hand side of the course have current pushing out. So that right-hand side of the course has a slight advantage for the current, both upwind and downwind, helping them get up the course, making the breeze a bit stronger. And Prada are doing a good job of protecting that side of the course. I think they identified that before the start. And that's what's making it hard for American Magic to get back into the race. I expect attack coming up here pretty soon from Luna Rossa to protect that side.
Much better. My trap, my rake.
Crossing.
So Luna Rossa with that 318-metre lead on Patriot in this third race, this third semi-final of the Prada Cup, and it is a critical race. We know one thing, American Magic need a single win to keep this alive and go into tomorrow's racing. If they don't do it today, it's all over.
Coming up on angle.
Francesco Keko Bruni, as the world calls him, the sailing world calls him.
Very similar
Their
pressure
voices
side
have
to side.
gotten so calm, surely on board the
He's
boat.
going. Let's keep the foot on the throtto. He's tacked.
Copy that. Stand by, guys.
That was the voice of a match racer right there.
That says it all, Jimmy Spittle. Let's keep the foot on the throat. There is no coming back here.
Good seat on your bow, rookie.
Hi, Trav. Anything a little softer, boys?
See, we hear a little more of Terry Hutchinson today, whether he has his microphone turned up or not, or had it turned off the other days. It's clearly a lot more chatter from Terry.
Breeze on the track here.
I'd like to see open track in the next 10.
Yeah.
Surely that foot on the throat call by Spithill explain for the non-match racers what he's talking about here. We're not talking literal at this stage, of course.
Not yet, anyway, Kenny. Just matching them tack for tack, not giving them the opportunity to get any kind of leverage to come back into them. And they've done a beautiful job, haven't they, of controlling, picking the side of the course they want and yet controlling the opposition. I mean, textbook stuff, Steve.
In a different way, this is very similar to yesterday. Yes, softer conditions, as you say, more sane conditions, but you can sort of sense coming off the water that Luna Rossa right now are totally in sync, completely in sync.
Okay, getting speed back now.
It's hard to argue with that.
Slowly trimming back up.
The results are showing, and you know, it was that one nip and tuck off the starting line. It was either going to be a hard race or the stage an easy race, and they got it. They had that extra meter of distance when they needed it.
I think, Kenny, they're slightly faster as well as Italy. I mean, there was a little bit of debate, wasn't there, whether, you know, they would be fast in the light because they were faster yesterday in the breeze, but today, certainly a click faster than their opposition.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli at the top gate for the third time to complete leg number 3. In the words of Francesco Bruni at the press conference yesterday, they are more consistent, they are more stable, and they are putting that on display again today, but this time in lighter air as they round the top gate and complete leg number 3 of 6 in the Prada Cup semi-finals, race 3.
They're stretching this thing out a little bit right now. Shirley, I think you're spot on there by saying they're certainly not the slower boat, that Italian boat right now. They look quick.
Patriot coming into the top gate for them to complete leg number 3 in this Prada Cup semi-final. Does make a magnificent sight on our virtual eye of the race course and the spectator feed around, and around they go on the downwind leg. Leg number 4. The gap now 41 seconds.
Nice there. Slightly left-handed average.
They keep saying this boat is fast, Shirley, but now it's time.
They're happy with the boundary. He's a
Show your
little bit of
stuff.
bow
They've been fast downwind. They believe in this boat.
Standing by here, Goody.
See what it can do. It looks boat speeds are pretty similar.
Kenny, everyone is getting quicker. We've seen, I mean, I think the word on the dock is that Luna Rossa is like 10% faster than they were before they went in the shed last weekend. So, you know, everyone is making gains. And for this team, it's been the toughest of 2 weeks, rebuilding their boat after that capsize. No real headspace, I guess, to move the game forward.
There will be one team looking on with a lot of interest, and that is Ineos Team UK and the improvements. If this works in their favour of that boat, the speed advances that they have made and reliability advances too.
Yeah. Yeah, they bring down more pressure. Might have.
It's amazing that they put Pietro out back there. So for those who are kind of joining into this new America's Cup late, you can't see from one side to the other. So he goes off to the back, holds on to those 2 red handles in the back of the mainsail, so he can get a 360, at least a 270-degree view of the race course and where they think the wind pressure is.
A little bit of table.
There's not a whole lot in it in these two boats going downwind. I think the real speed difference, Kenny, between the two boats is the upwind speeds, and it's not necessarily boat speed from what I can see on the water. It looks like Luna Rossa are able to sail higher. You know, their VMG is better. The speed might be the same, but they're doing a better angle upwind, and that's where they're making these gains around the racetrack.
A little bit take what he gives us right now, you know.
He's going to go to ley line here.
Showing us just about.
So Terry said, take what he gives us. Now they're talking split, right? They're talking split. They go to one side.
30 seconds.
American Magic's got to go to the other. They need leverage right now. Like Shirley was describing, Spittle wants to keep his foot on the throat, which means he wants to stay in the same water. The old between your man and the hoop context. These guys need a big split on American Magic.
He sets up. He jives. We're 10 seconds from me left.
Going down in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Squaring up.
straight in. Right turn. It's good pressure here, Trevor.
Yeah.
Straight and left turn. That mark right at the bottom of our screen looks a little further away, though.
The lead speed throw, 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, coming up.
About to complete leg 4 of 6. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Around they go. Just as if they're on rails like a good old slot car set of old. And away they go on the penultimate leg of this third race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. Fans love it. But in comes American Magic too, and they have cut that lead. They have definitely cut that lead. They have always been known to be strong downwind, and they show us today they are quicker downwind today. 20 seconds down from 41 seconds.
Slightly heading, little press.
Tough maneuver by the Americans at that mark, but they did what we thought they were going to do. They got their big split. That's what they needed to do. That's a really hard maneuver that they just did, Shirley, that it looked pretty smooth. It looked like they pulled it off, and they got the leverage that they desperately need at this stage.
That was a great move, and they're fast downwind, the Americans. Low, we've seen it before, but just looking at the VMGs on that run, they're solid downwind.
Let's go onto the water, Nathan. They've picked up 21 seconds on that downwind leg. Can they make any more up on this upwind leg?
I will.
Well, they did the right thing there by getting the split. Well, I think we're all hoping they were going to take that other mark and really open up the course. Now they're just hoping that they can get a few shifts go their way and get back into this race. The lead's closing up a little bit from what it was last upwind. And you can hear them on board already saying nice gain. So hopefully they stay in phase here and really put a bit of pressure on Luna Rossa.
Nitro.
Only got 30 seconds in. They're going the other way, so going to have to hold here. But
Yeah.
there's a little bit phase though, so I guess it's just when we think.
Have a look over your right shoulder and see what you see.
Yeah,
Real match race going on here right now. Again, it's just controlling the race course if you're Luna Rossa, but surely I wonder if they have just this little nagging feeling in the back of their mind that maybe the other boat's a little quicker downwind. They have to make some gains here.
Now.
Go a little further.
I think if we hear from Jimmy, it'll be the same comms, foot on get your foot on his throat. They won't want to give him much more than this.
Probably at the top.
G-point is very close. So
I think they're just stretching out here on starboard tack as Jimmy just wants to drive a little bit longer.
to go whenever you want.
Stand by, boys. Let's get to this pressure. 3, 2, 1.
Smooth as silk, smooth as silk. Again, American Magic needs a mistake right now from that boat ahead. The boat that apparently does not want to make one at this stage.
Word on the dock is that Prada has smaller flaps. Doesn't seem to be harming them today, Henny.
They've done something. You mentioned 10%. They think they're 10%, and that's a real number. We're not making this up. This is not a round number. They think they're 10% faster than they were a week and a half ago. That is a staggering number.
Flag beyond the top mark.
They have been quite open in saying they have made huge improvements, and we are seeing that right now. They have, it's almost a workman-like performance. You feel like they're just going and doing it by the numbers.
Yeah, I agree. But and so they're smooth. Not only they're smooth on their skates, as you would say in hockey land, but they've improved their windage. The bodies are way down low. Everything, the communication, like Shirley said earlier, everything. It's not ever one particular thing. It's a whole series of issues that you can deal with to make a boat faster. And it seems like they've ticked a few boxes. There's no question about that.
Just building here for a second.
Okay. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the challenger of record. A week and a half ago, they were under immense pressure. Yesterday, they showed the sailing world, you know what? We'll respond, and we will respond in a big way. And it was in heavy air, and they literally destroyed American Magic on the water yesterday.
getting betting on the mud.
That mud feels good.
Nathan, it looks like they're stretching out a bit again here upwind, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, Luna Rossa are definitely looking class act upwind at the moment. Higher than the other boat, sailing their own race. It looks like they're going to lay this top mark here quite nicely, and they're just going to run away with this one.
Approaching the top gate for the final time, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli in control of this third race in the Prada Cup semi-finals. It was 20 seconds at the bottom gate. They had picked up time, and that is American Magic. But what has the upwind leg done?
Yesterday we had 4 laps. Today only 3 laps, Shirley. Time is running out for the Americans, not only on this race, but on their season.
3, 2, 1.
Patriot approaching the top gate for their final time in this third race.
10.
They've lost ground on the upwind leg, the penultimate leg.
3, 2, 1.
And around the mark they go, 41 seconds behind. That was the distance they were behind at the end of leg 3, Shirley.
Oh. Not many options left, is there, Kenny?
Prada jibes to just to kind of keep themselves in the game. You know, at this stage, you almost sometimes, Nathan, you don't mind losing a few meters just to kind of get yourself back in sync with the boat behind, because frankly, they're running out of time, aren't they?
Yeah, nice.
Right, base here.
Yeah, Ken, right now looking at it from on the water, Luna Rossa haven't put a foot wrong this whole race. They've positioned themselves strongly against the opponent. They're sailing fast, they're sailing smooth. I haven't really seen American Magic make any errors in this race either. I just think it's one boat's just that little bit quicker than the other, and there's not many wind shifts out here, and this is the result you get. And this is why design teams spend 3 years, 4 years designing these boats and optimizing it and pushing it. The sailors will push it as hard as they can, but right now I don't think there's much more that Dean Barker and his crew can do to get that boat to go any faster.
You are on board American Magic, 540 odd meters behind Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. And when Luna Rossa get to this finish line, they are one step away from joining Ineos Team UK in the Prada Cup final.
Yeah, I think.
Good time to go now, eh?
Yeah, I think good time. Running out the pressure. Yeah.
You wonder how much of a really good look he gets there. He jumps up, looks around really quick. I got it. Jumps back in, quick. And you wonder, is he really seeing the whole race course, or is this just for us right now? I think he's putting on a show for you, Stephen.
Oh no, I'm listening to my 2 experts beside me, knowing that he is doing a job and finding that winner, the best place to be, Shirley.
Well, Sabello sailed a boat in the Olympics where you stand up all the time. Actually, the boat that Nathan has a gold and silver medal in, the 49er. So he's used to being nimble on his feet. Not worried about him.
Good pressure up there.
It is all so calm with Jimmy Spittle and Luna Rossa and Francesco Bruni. Some might suggest today that's out for a Saturday afternoon spin around the harbour.
All right, boys,
but this is the Prada Cup semi-finals. This is no small chicken race here. This is the big deal before one of these teams makes it into the Prada Cup final against Ineos Team UK. It is done in race number 3 for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Another near flawless performance by Spittle and Bruni on the helm, and they go 3-0 up and a step away from the Prada Cup final. And don't their fans love it in the America's Cup Village?
Which driver going position, Jimmy?
Yeah, sounds good, mate. Right, boys, just going to swing her over.
Match point for the Americans.
Oh, he's moving.
Never thought we'd see this coming, frankly.
And in comes Patriot representing the New York Yacht Club. They have one race left to keep this series alive. And they cross 35 seconds in drift of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Still one race to go. They've talked about the fight, and the fight is still on.
Slowly dropping in here.
Surely, I think we saw a faster boat versus a slightly slower boat. I mean, you can overanalyze this all you want. Pretty even start. That first cross was huge, obviously, but that happens because one boat's got a tick on the other boat. It just seemed a little bit of a mismatch.
You hear it as well on the comms of Prada. They're confident that they can just put the boat where they want and just edge out. I think we have to remember 2 weeks ago American Magic was sinking, and it's been through a miraculous process to be racing today, but they haven't had that 2 week to move the game forward like the Italians.
That's the big one right there. While they're just trying to get their boat whole, the other boat was getting faster.
Let us confirm race 3 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, an unblemished record. They are now 3-0 and beat American Magic by 35 seconds. Magic, is their campaign about to end here? Is Luna Rossa about to make it 4-0 and go to the Prada Cup final? Each has their fans in the village and around the viaduct and ready to go. A big spectator fleet and plenty of folks watching on the big screens around the viaduct harbour. The tension is palpable here in the commentary position, I can tell you. Out on the water, Nathan Outteridge, call it. Make a call, buddy. What happens?
Well, Stephen, there's plenty of breeze out here now. The breeze is filled in from the top of the course right down. We've got a good 15 knots across the whole course. And as you can hear there, the race is live. We're going to be going to battle here very soon. American Magic just doing a little bit of a tune-up here before the start. They have to win this start. If they win the start and not just have an even start like we said before, they've got to dominate the start, put the pressure on Jimmy Spittle and Luna Rossa, and let's push this into another day. That's what we all want to see. We want to see some fight out of these guys, and we want to see a race win for American Magic.
Nathan says time to go to battle. He wants to see American Magic do something to start. Take it to Luna Rossa. Do we get that in race 4, Kenny?
I have to disagree with my friend Nathan. I don't think they need to win the start. I think they need to get a start where they're in the position that they want to be. If they think the right side of the race course is better, then get to the right side of the race course. Start up on your opponent's hip, start to the right of them, and get to the right of the race course. Let's not force the team into something that they may not be comfortable with. Let's just kind of have at it and hope that our boat has a little more boat speed in this increasing breeze on the Hauraki Gulf.
I'm with Kenny. I mean, don't sail the way that you don't normally sail. You just need better execution on the start line. Go where you want to go. With 5 more knots in this race, Stephen, it's a different game.
Patriot will come in on the left-hand side, as you can see her coming in now on the port entry. She has port entry and can enter at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. On the right-hand side, the starboard end, it'll be Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. And Luna Rossa team that are... And you talked executions, Shirley. They haven't put a foot wrong pretty much in the last 48 hours.
And particularly in the starting area. I mean, the Prada starts throughout this series have been excellent. I mean, they have nailed it. Perfect execution, great timing.
Francesco Brudi says that the starts a lot all come down to pre-planning. They don't go outside that window. They know exactly what they are going to do.
Well, let's see the geometry. Let's see these moves by Dean Barker again. Is he going to be predictable, or is he going to throw a little wrench into the situation? This is where we find out.
He's turned up early, Kenny. He didn't go to the boundary. He's trying something new.
1 minute and 25 seconds are going to race start and race 4. Nathan, I want you to read on what you've seen so far in this pre-start.
Turning down here on 3, 2.
The action's all about to begin right now. It's this turnaround time that's critical. American Magic coming away in North area. Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni chasing him and pushing him hard. They're really going to put the pressure on American Magic in this one.
Fine. There's a full jump.
I'm feeling 7 here, turning it up here, racing up one.
Okay, when you want.
Okay, coming up.
A lot of time, Stephen. Look at the clock, still 53 seconds.
Coming up, full speed.
Yeah, copy.
You wonder if they're late, though. That was a really tricky maneuver by American Magic. Put themselves in maybe another vulnerable spot, but 40 seconds to go. They may be a touch early. There may be a gap in there, but they're certainly not front-footing it, I'll tell you that.
Press hard here. Both sides are late.
30 seconds and counting. The start of race 4 in the Prada Cup semi-finals.
Dean Barker going for the hook.
Just give him the gas.
I think he's going to run out of time, Stephen. I think he's going to run out of time. I do not think that Prada is early for this starting line.
Go full speed.
Full speed, copy. Full speed.
Standing by.
A little ease, a little ease.
Anytime. 2, 1,
Go.
And turning.
It's on. Race 4 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. But Luna Rossa, 1 win. You're in the Prada Cup final for American Magic. 1 win, and your campaign survives another day.
So we are in 15, 19, 15.
I think we hold for now.
Release.
I feel terrible for.
Just wait for this pressure to see
Sometimes
if we
you
get
just
left
lose
heel, we'll probably
your confidence, and that's what it feels like to me. That the afterguard of American Magic in that pre-start box had just lost their confidence. I've been there before, by the way. I've been the person who has lost their confidence. It's no fun. It's not a fun place to be. Let's see if they can dig it out and find a little bit of boat speed.
Okay. Drop.
Okay, he's tagged. I've got us 2 lengths ahead at the moment.
Trimming. Generally more pressure.
Far behind. They need pace, Shirley. They need pace at this stage.
Well, they got to that right-hand side. Crew's really like that. A little bit more pressure there. Maybe a bit of courage as well, helping them along.
Nice mode here.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, more down.
Keeping it close.
And turn.
30 seconds the other way.
Yep. We can get out of here straight away. Standing by.
Yes.
Dean Barker, no real options there, Kenny. You hear him straight into the tag. I mean, beautiful execution by the Italian team. Tag right on them.
So Nathan, obviously Spithill and company don't mind the left-hand side of the race course there, do they?
No, they're actually protecting the left this side as compared to route last race was the right. The breeze is filled across the whole course, so it's a pretty even track. I think they're just trying to hurt them where they can. But guys, I just can't get over that start. I hate harping on about it, but it was an easy win for Luna Rossa off that start, and now American Magic have a lot to do to get this race win.
Nathan, do you think it just seemed like their timing was out? And you look at the Italians, their timing and their geometry is always bang on. Is it something to do with software? They're just not as confident?
Yeah, it's the same distance.
Yeah, Shirley, you're probably right there. These guys, to judge that by eye is so difficult, particularly with the maneuver. Everyone's relying on software to get that turn back at the right time, and if their software's not calibrated perfectly or they're not interpreting it the right way, you end up being early or late very easily. So, you know, maybe that's what Luna Rossa's also done in the last week or two, is gone out and do a bunch of start practice and get their pre-starts and their software dialed to perfection. I know racing with Artemis in the last America's Cup, we spent a lot of time on race software, and race software makes sailors look really smart. If it works for you, you look like a hero, but if it's not quite accurate enough, it can make you look really silly.
Let's get on board Patriot and hear what's going through their minds.
25 to lay. Let's get that. 15. Standing by. Crossing. Anytime. 2. 1 board down. But board's not going here. Board won't go down. Grey Hill. No, Grey Hill's not working either.
Sounds like there's trouble on American Magic. You heard Dean Barker say the board won't go down. Surely not.
Hang on, board's going now slowly.
Keep the speed up, please. Keep the speed up.
Yeah, copy.
Gracious.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli around the top gate for the first time in the 6th leg, but it is trouble for American Magic. Board down issues in a race they have to win.
2, 1 coming down. Take my wheel. Yeah, copy. You can see what we've got to do here. Yeah, crossing.
If they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all right now, unfortunately, Shirley.
Turning up here at 3, 2, 1, turning it up now.
Good angle, no higher.
American Magic get around the top gate after trouble with board. And the lead is 45 seconds to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Angle there.
Kenny, that's so disappointing, but not really a surprise when we think what this really complex machine has been through over the last 2 weeks.
35 to boundary.
Unfortunately,
Looks like boundary gets
it's easy to be speechless at this stage. It's just a shame. All you want is you want a competitive race, right? That's all you can. That's all you can hope for for all sides. We have friends on all teams. I know everybody back home is hurting right now watching this, and frankly, they kind of need a miracle right now to get back into this race.
This board's not going now. Yeah, we haven't got a board here, guys. This could be a bit ugly here. Can't get the board's not going again. Just got to drop it. You're going to have to just drop it in here.
Okay. Trying with the grey hill on my spot now. I'm getting movement.
This is the umpires. Boundary penalty, USA.
Board up, board down again.
No, it's just gone down. Just jibing here.
Yep.
You got it there, got it.
The other way.
My wheel.
Racing tragedy for American Magic in a race that they had to win. Board issues as they headed towards the top gate. Board issues as they get around the top gate and down on that first downward leg. And
slowly trimming on now.
You can imagine hearts sinking amongst supporters that are watching in the Viaduct Harbour and around the world. Just when they needed some sort of luck, the gremlins strike. Those dastardly gremlins.
You got to feel so bad for that guy. Honestly,
nice there.
Nobody deserves this, but like Shirley said, the boat was underwater 9 days ago. Underwater. So it can't be a complete shock that we're seeing a situation like this where some of the mechanics don't work. You can't perform miracles. You can't perform miracles.
As you can see on the bottom left of your screen, the lead that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has right now is strong.
Stand by, trimming up in 3, coming up in 3.
They will complete the second leg
guys.
and head up on leg number 3 of 6 in this 4th race of the Prada Cup semi-finals.
Nice.
Nathan Outridge out on the water. Can you believe what we have just seen?
Oh, guys, it's just heartbreaking. Just watching it and listening to the comms off the boat. They're doing such a good job to keep it composed and together. But you know, the board didn't drop on the upwind in that tack. It didn't drop in that jibe. They're about to do another jibe here right now. Let's hope the board goes down for their sake.
Board going down in 5, 2, 1. Here we go. Yeah, no action.
Okay. Nah, there you go. You heard it. It's not getting any better. The situation's getting bad to worse. And what a terrible way to end the America's Cup challenge here.
Here it goes now. No, what's it doing?
That was me. Go board up and try again.
This is the umpires, USA boundary penalty.
That's board up.
Yeah.
That's the that goes down first. Board going down in 3, 2, 1. Board down now. Yeah, it's gone this time.
It's just shocking.
Okay, turn in. Yep.
Such a shame. I feel so bad for all the supporters, the members of the club, the fans back in the States, fans around the world. Nobody deserves this.
Penalty clear.
I don't have a visual rookie, so...
Still 110, 100.
They're coming down more.
Yep, normal bear away here in 3, 2, 1. You'll see the marks. You see left turn.
Yeah, copy that.
Patriot advancing towards the bottom gate for the first time. Major technical problems with their boards.
4, 3, 2, 1. Turn it up now.
And as you would expect, the time difference right now makes no difference. 2 minutes and 1 second behind Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. It's now just a matter of time. How hard is it to be a fan right now? How hard is it to be on that boat and remain composed? And for all the families sitting back at the base in the Wynyard Quarter.
That's coming back up.
How tough is this?
Board down here in 3, 2, 1. Board down. Yeah, so it's gone. And turning.
They're just guessing whether these boards are going to go up or down right now. They're just guessing. And
pressing buttons.
I know all the work that's gone into it. I know the people have done all the work. I've been sailing with them for years. It's the best in the business, but I've also had an electrical engineer tell me what they tried to do over 10 days may be actually impossible.
Maybe that's going to be the solution, unfortunately, as the board.
So, boy, oh boy.
But 24 hours ago, we were celebrating them being back on the water. Yes, beaten up.
But this could be a tiny connection. This could be one electrical connection that's just misfiring, the tiniest little thing. And I'm not blaming it on the electrician. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming it on anybody. I'm just saying there's so many moving parts in these boats. It's just one tiny thing misfiring that creates, well, a disaster.
I think there's something like 17,000 components go into this really complex machine. And we saw pre-Christmas as well. I mean, even then, loads of teething problems. It's so hard to watch, though, Kenny.
I still have normal can control on the port side, so...
Still talking it through.
Done.
We'll try a different drop mode just in case it's something to do with the drop mode number.
Yep. Yeah, try going back to 11.
Yeah, where were you? Okay, I'm going forward now.
All the time the Italians are rolling away. Listen, Jimmy Spittle's been in the American Magic spot. In 2000, when I was here competing against him, he was with Sid Fisher's Young Australia, and they weren't far from the drama of what American Magic's going through right now. Struggled around the race course, but you know what? You've got to deal with the hand that you're given, and right now these guys have been given a pretty nice hand.
Luna Rossa approaching the top gate to complete leg number 3, and they are halfway towards that spot in the Prada Cup final against Emirates Team UK. They haven't done too much wrong in 48 hours. They had one little skid yesterday, Shirley, on that bottom gate rounding, but that was pretty much it.
They haven't been pushed a great deal, Stephen, so I think we have to say that. But just even the way they're sailing the boat, they're executing the start. They've stepped the game up in this week, no doubt.
3, 2, 1. You got him, right?
Yeah, got it.
Penalty clear.
Yeah, so you can always drive back.
You heard the voice of Brisbane Slater. There was obviously another boundary penalty. You can see on your right-hand screen, Patriot coming way outside the boundary, but it'll be quite a simple decision because of the distance involved now to get rid of that penalty very quickly and just let them race their race. And look at this, even knowing the way it is, just get that feeling. There's a reminder from Jimmy Spittle that they are going to be a force in this Prada Cup final. I'm a great believer of what we're seeing. Yes, they hadn't been pushed, and it could be a stunning Prada Cup final. Unless something really, really bad happens right now, and we go to tomorrow.
Seconds to see if
They're still struggling. They're going outside the race course. Left and right now, just trying to get this thing to work.
We're down here in 3, 2, 1. We're down, nothing happening.
Nothing happening.
Try forward up again here. Forward down now. Still no action. Now it's going down this time. So it'll come up and then I'll be able to fire it. 2, 1, forward down. Okay, turning.
We could take this conversation right back to the World Series pre-Christmas, couldn't we? And this boat that we're seeing right now, Patriot, was being talked up as one of the favourites. It was a boat that defeated Emirates Team New Zealand in a race. I think it was about 12 seconds. And we're going, okay, New York Yacht Club back in the game. It is game on. And then the rest, I hate being cliched, is history as to what unfolded.
Yeah, the only boat to beat the Kiwis. I mean, they looked so promising. Remember, they were the first boat to arrive in Auckland. Lots of time on the water. They felt really solid in their preparation. But this game, Stephen, it moves on at such a rapid pace. And that capsize, you know, it's only now we're seeing the real fallout from that.
What we are seeing, too, as part of the America's Cup is how unforgiving it is to try and win the America's Cup. If you're not on your game, or the forces work against you.
Well, the game is ruthless. Let's put it that way. We always talk about the money spent. The money spent is to try to create the fastest boat that's ever taken the water. This is it's just it's a ruthless game.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli complete leg 4 of 6 in race 4 of the Prada Cup semi-final. 2 more legs to go, and they have Ineos Team UK in their sights.
That's angle.
So left base at 35.
Plenty of breeze here, so
it's an elegant
do it on the
package,
lines.
isn't it? I mean, I think Stephen keeps calling it smooth in your very nautical terms. The boat is smooth. I'm not sure I would use smooth, but
well,
it's elegant.
You know what?
There's no question.
Well, they wanted to elegantly sail today, didn't they? But when you look at this boat, it's smooth, it's stylish, it's Italian, and one of the only boats, or the only boat that didn't actually make too many radical changes from the exterior when we went to boat 2.
Coming down.
They must have felt right from the get-go, we got the right boat here.
But they have made gains in every department.
10% of speed gains.
I'm not sure that's science. That's just word on the dock here in Auckland. But they're happy. You can sense it. They're a new team with momentum, and you can feel that when you speak to them now.
Happy to come up.
It's not only about arriving here with a fast boat, Stephen. You have to have the resources and the smarts around you that you can create a faster boat with every given day.
And part of the discussion has been with this America's Cup and the COVID-19 world that we have lived in. All teams lost 2 World Series regattas to develop their boats. So we've seen boats develop at a furious pace in a very short time.
But the history, I think the history books are going to show that while American Magic was literally trying to get their boat to float again and piece it back together, the other team got 10% faster. You know, you can only do so much. And I know it's easy to put on a brave face through that whole capsize. Hasn't been the same boat since. Forget the foils here for a second. It hasn't been the same boat or team since, and you can only do so much. The other team hit it out of the park at the time where you were most vulnerable, and guess what? That's sport. That's sport.
Turning up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn it up now.
American Magic around the gate, complete leg number 4.
Going to try the board now. Want to go this time. One of those. Okay. Going to try and fire the board here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. And turning.
Stephen, Terry Hutchinson said at the press conference there was nothing wrong with the boat, but we all saw Dean Barker wrestle that boat round the course the whole day. And today, massive struggle.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli on the 5th leg of 6. This is the penultimate leg.
Slowly gaining on it.
Yeah.
Okay, we just do a little build for the tack there.
It is a beautiful boat. It is a beautiful looking boat when you see these magnificent pictures coming off our helicopters, our chase boat, even that bow camera. How cool does that look? Yeah, I'm getting a little bit excited. I like pretty things, right? But
fast is usually pretty, you know.
When we talk about shifts in performance, we've spoken about the shift in performance from Christmas to a week ago with Ineos Team UK. How big a shift has the performance of this team, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, been in the scope of this America's Cup?
Not quite Ineos-esque, I don't think. That was miracle type stuff, but it's been pretty darn impressive.
A little bit lighter actually for this Norway.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli approaching the gates for the last time, and one more downwind leg and head towards the finish, and then celebrate the fact that they, barring catastrophe, will be in the Prada Cup final.
I can guarantee you that that whole team have they feel for these guys as much or more than anybody does. I don't care how big a competitor you are. You can't be a sportsman and not feel for what this team is going through right now. It's
Still just on the course here.
It's sad.
This is the umpire's boundary penalty, USA.
Go Mars, go Mars.
We wished for the fairy tale. They wished for the fairy tale, but the reality of it is it's a lot to ask for.
And so in the foreground, you see a stranded American Magic. And then in the background, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli flying high on her foils and heading towards the finish in race 4 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. And the guaranteed spot, that final spot in the Prada Cup finals.
It's better.
Stephen, I think they haven't just gained boat pace. That just the whole team has made a massive leap forward. And to me, Jimmy Spittle has now arrived in Auckland. The Jimmy Spittle that we're used to seeing. The confidence as well with Francesco Bruni. It's a different. The whole of the team feels different to before.
And understandably, then this confidence just washes across the whole organisation, the family, and suddenly sailors are going home to families that are buoyant and you can't break momentum. You know, it's going to be. I know it's going to be a little while before we get into the Prada Cup final, but they will draw so much from this going forward.
Guy's been in the last 3 America's Cups. 1, 2, lost 1. When he speaks, Nathan, when Jimmy speaks, they better listen, right?
Yeah, I've just been listening to you guys chatting while we've been steaming down the side of the track next to them, and everything you say about this team is spot on. The confidence is coming at the right time. You can hear the voices, you can hear the chat on board. It's confident chat. They're sailing the boat smart, winning the start, sailing it fast. I bet you if I was in the Ineos camp right now, watching what we've seen the last 2 days, they'd be a bit nervous, I think.
Nathan, you've raced against Jimmy Spittle. What does he bring? What do competitors fear?
A little bit choppier down there.
Well, he never gives up, that's for sure. We saw that in San Francisco. He's a real professional, and you know, he's a big team player. And at the end of the day, winning America's Cup is about being a team player. Yes, his name is Jimmy Spittle, but he's just one cog in this big wheel of Luna Rossa. And you know, I'm really impressed in how Francesco Bruni stepped it up as well. I think there's plenty of talent on this boat, and they're just learning how to race this boat as a team.
Okay, my runner. It's going to go again.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli heading towards the finish line in race 4 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. And you can be guaranteed the flags will be waving, because Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli have just guaranteed themselves a spot in the Prada Cup final. It's done. It will be Luna Rossa against Ineos Team UK in the Prada Cup final on the Hauraki Gulf.
Nice one. Now Ineos, boys.
Sorry, no, it's me against you.
You also, mate. You take it.
I will.
And straight away, the attention from Jimmy Spittle says straight away, he goes, now Ineos, boys. Wow, straight away.
We haven't heard a lot of Jimmy Spittle, have we? But now he can sniff a battle.
When you talk about battles, Kenny, you talk about helmsmen. Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni against Ben Ainsley. Let's throw in Giles Scott as well. My lips, I'm starting to water. They're starting to go. I'm getting excited now.
I'm struggling here a little bit. I'm blown away by how this has ended for the Americans. I know how much. Congratulations to you. Don't get me wrong, and we're not here to pick sides. I just feel sorry for any team who goes out like this. It's unfair. Sport is unfair sometimes, and this has been brutally unfair. History books will have to write it as it wishes as to where the fault lies, if fault lies anywhere at all. It's just, I know how hard people work in these programs, and this is just This is a shame. There's no other word for it.
I mean, let's remember, this is their first outing in the Cup for this team. They're 3 years in. The other teams, you know, much more years to build up all that IP and that experience. They have, though, shown, I mean, a real grit and determination. And I just hope, Kenny, that they'll be back, that the New York Yacht Club will see this as the beginning, not as the end.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The New York Yacht Club traditionally isn't going anywhere. You know, that's they feel the Cup is part of the blood of the New York Yacht Club of 44th Street and Harbor Court, and all the people who are members are so passionate about not just American Magic, but about the America's Cup in general. And I guess that room in the back of 44th Street and that case is going to stay empty for another little time being.
It takes me back to an interview that we showed around the world of Terry Hutchinson, the skipper, and that one simple desire. That it's almost a fixation with wanting to be at the table at the New York Yacht Club of skippers that have won the America's Cup. And that's not going to happen. And the personal angst that must come with that and finishing like this must be enormous. It quite simply must be heartbreaking.
I really feel for Terry Hutchinson. He made this happen. He brought in the backers. He brought his team together. His band of brothers. They're so tight. And even when things were really difficult, even following the capsize, Stephen, he led his team from the front in an extraordinary way. This final leg must be so difficult.
The boat Patriot.
It's a good fight, man.
Representing the New York Yacht Club. And American Magic comes to the finish of race 4 in the semi-finals. But the campaign for American Magic and the New York Yacht Club is over.
If you can get me to get a board down, I'll go E-stop once we get it far enough under for rev.
I'll try going board down here. Like I may get it.
Yeah, or even just go capsize mode, and I'll see if I can get an E-stop after we get the boards under.
Yeah, I'll just give it a couple of secs here. It just seems like
still in race mode, still thinking.
Which I'll go into the zero mode when it does go.
You can just look at the body language of the grinders. Confirmation, race 4 of the Prada Cup semi-finals. It is a perfect 4-0 record to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They advanced to the Prada Cup final on the back of a 3-minute and 51-second win against American Magic.